Hello again and welcome to Money Matters. COVID-19 put a spotlight on people's health and well-being, which has been a boost to biotech startups. At a healthcare exhibition last month, Zella Chin found out how the sector integrates new tech companies into an established industry. At this two-day healthcare trade show, 110 startups are showing off their products and services, ranging from telemedicine, AI, and robotics. They're looking for partners or investors to take their business to the next level.
Alice Sang, an economist with the Trade Development Council, says the pandemic increased the public's interest in health and medicine.
That's why there is a boom or a huge demand for ordinary people to keep track of their health performance. People actually want to live longer as well as in a good health conditions. So that's why they are paying more attention and spending more money to keep monitoring their health conditions in the long run.
This startup sells machines that people use to measure their vital signs. Bradley Ng is in charge of business development.
Bradley, what is this booth behind you?
Oh, this is a telemedicine kiosk. So we'll be providing the service into the rural areas, and then people can go inside and do the teleconsultation.
Oh, can I try it out then?
Oh, yes, please.
Before connecting with the doctor virtually, a patient needs to DIY some health measurements.
They can do the measuring the height, the weight, and then do the blood pressure, and then the oxygen level, temperature, and then we can also do the BMI, and then also do the body composition as well.
The data collected from the machines can be passed on to the doctors to use during virtual medical consultations. The machines are already being used in the public healthcare system at 5 district health centers since June. They serve about 1 million people.
The district health center or the staff, they can use that to communicate with the local community or the users so that they can have all kinds of data to recommend them to take class or take better exercises and all kinds of information they can provide within the health center.
The health centers plan to start doctor consultations in 2023. Remote medicine is useful anytime, anywhere, such as elderly homes, overstressed health systems, and the countryside. Any situation where the patient's location or mobility is compromised or inaccessible.
The Hong Kong market, in another 4 years, I think every 4 people will be over 60 years of old. So that's why we help to provide a service so that for more like a preventive healthcare, and then for all the elderly or maybe for the community to easier to engage with the remote doctor.
The company started in 2019 and broke even last year. It's looking for $3 million to $5 million of investment to deploy more machines in the city.
We're looking for like strategic partner that can help us can scale up. Maybe we can look for like doctor network or pharmaceutical network, and then I'll go also for looking for a logistic network. So that when you go to see a doctor with all the support, then we can provide the service a lot faster to the local community.
Because of the pandemic outbreak in 2020, these telehealth services suddenly in a huge demand because patients and people cannot physically go to the doctors or have their regular checkup in person. And actually, Hong Kong Hospital Authority has also used telehealth to keep track of their patient, regular checkup.
At another booth, James Jia is a chief operating officer at a robotics startup. He is looking for doctors and hospitals to use his robots for bone surgery.
The doctors just hold these tools to do the bone cutting.
That's your robot?
Yeah, this is our robotic arm, and this is the tools. This is the blade.
So the surgeon would use your robot to make this incision?
Yeah, to do the cutting.
Okay.
So actually the saw operates this way.
And it cuts into the bone?
Yeah. Because the cutting is very precise, so it's a perfect match with the implant. Our robot can assist the doctors and surgeons to do the operations very precisely and much easier than traditional ones, because they will need less tools and less injury to the patients And the accuracy we can achieve is about 0.5 millimeters, which is 6 times smaller than manual operations.
He says his robotic system is more accurate than manual surgery, which uses a saw and other tools. His system specializes in knee, hip, and spine surgeries. This company was started in Shenzhen in 2018.
In China, we have now more than 120 staffs, and more than half of them are for R&D and technical teams. So basically, these products have been developed within 3.5 years when they come to approval by the NMPA this April.
Approval by China's National Medical Products Administration means the robots can be sold to public hospitals in the mainland. And James says the company has received a lot of inquiries. The company set up the Hong Kong office in September this year.
We want to attract more talented people here because Hong Kong is a place full of talented people for doing R&Ds and marketings. And second is Hong Kong is a very great, huge international market, and this is where we want to go first.
He's working on getting his robotic system approved by the hospital authority so it can be sold in the city.
Nowadays, many surgery, they involve in robotic surgery, which help the patient to have a smaller wound and also help the patient like to prevent blood loss or heavy blood loss or like have infections due to the surgery. So robotic surgery actually help the patient and as well as the doctors to monitor and to perform the surgery in more precise and accurate rate.
At the exhibition, the CEO of Gleneagles Hospital signed a memorandum of understanding with the founder of a health tech startup to collaborate on digital healthcare services.
It's important that we embrace artificial intelligence and any sort of development in digital technology for healthcare.
Kenneth has already incorporated the startup's artificial intelligence in the hospital's smartphone app.
So what happens is I press here. I allow them to use my data, confirm it's me, so I'm just taking a picture. The app will then be able to take the measurements of, let's say, oximetry reading, your blood oxygen reading, your blood pressure reading, and your stress level.
He believes that using AI would enhance the healthcare provided to patients.
We do believe that patients these days expect more and more improvements in their health. And to be able to improve their health means that the traditional way of, let's say, regular follow-up once every few months does not make sense anymore. We believe that regular monitoring, even on a daily basis or hourly basis, is actually more than important. And therefore, by working with such kind of company, providing this sort of mobile solutions means that the patient can be anywhere, anytime, taking their health measurements and be able to provide the doctor with updated measurements and data, where doctors can then feedback.
The data is saved on the user's app and can be shared with doctors and nurses. The hospital plans to connect the app to its healthcare system in the future. The exhibition is an opportunity for the CEO to meet with biotech startups and identify areas for them to help the established healthcare sector.
To be honest, startup, they might not have the idea of where actually their healthcare needs are, where we do. And therefore, by matching us with them means that we can provide them with a clearer picture of where they should go and fulfill our needs. And we, on our end, will be able to use the technology to able to treat our patients better.
He believes there's a lot of opportunity for the traditional healthcare providers to collaborate with new technology companies to build a better healthcare system for all patients.
Wynn Macau and MGM China led gains among the 6 Macau casino operators that were awarded new licenses to continue running their businesses. Bucking the trend, Galaxy Entertainment, which was perceived as the least exposed to licensing risks, fell. Malaysian casino operator GMM was rejected for a license. Macau authorities say talks would continue with the winners on details for the final contracts, including how much they need to invest in non-gaming sectors. The results removed concerns that one or more of the incumbent companies would not get a new license. Hong Kong saw a net 4,929 passenger arrivals through airports over land or by sea up to November 27th, compared with 196 net departures a year ago. The Hong Kong Immigration Department says net arrivals is computed as arrivals minus departures. There have been net departures of nearly 114,000 passengers so far this year, compared with a net 14,000 departures by this time last year. For Hong Kong residents, there were 3,000 arrivals versus 489 net departures a year ago. There have been net departures of 135,000 Hong Kong residents so far this year, compared with over 20,000 departures by this time last year.
Up next, how local guest houses have boomed in the Greater Bay Area. Stay with us. Welcome back to Money Matters. China's economy has taken a downward turn, and officials are trying to stimulate internal consumption. One way is to promote countryside tourism, where people take short trips to escape COVID-19. The number of guest houses and B&Bs have mushroomed in the Greater Bay Area. Some boast a Western ambiance that is proving to be popular with Chinese guests.
Blue sky, white clouds, and the sea. This is Da Peng Peninsula in Shenzhen, offering long coastlines and ample natural beauty. It is a popular getaway spot for people living in the Greater Bay Area. A geography magazine rated Da Peng Peninsula as one of China's top 8 most splendid coasts. And there are plenty of places to stay. Da Peng has 850 guest houses, the largest number in Guangdong Province.
In
the past few years, everyone talks about influencer photography. So, we target this kind of customer who wants to find a particular place to take a perfect photo.
The resort started in 2020. Unlike other countryside guest houses, the inspiration for the architectural design came from the white houses of the Greek islands. It's proven to be popular with visitors.
Whether you're in a terrace or a bedroom, it gives you a good backdrop for photography. What do we get from this? I don't need to do marketing myself. Others do it for us. It helps our business.
Initially, the property consisted of 2 private houses. Huang turned them into the resort. He kept the building structures intact, changing the internal layout and repainting the exterior. The biggest change was to replace the windows, locating them to take advantage of the sea views so guests could take all the pictures they want.
Actually, there are many other buildings nearby. This site is used to be village houses built by farmers. So, we differentiate our guest house with others nearby. Next is the sea view. The first thing to attract you is the nice view. If it doesn't have a focal point, then you'll be distracted. For example, a massive space doesn't have a focal point. So, we make the space smaller and create a focal point. We hope the focus is the sea.
During COVID-19, many would stay in a hotel for relaxation. Unlike traditional business hotels, guest houses or B&Bs offer unique services and experiences for clients. An online guesthouse booking platform says the number of searches for countryside accommodation in first-tier cities has jumped more than 4 times this summer, and the number of bookings is 1.8 times higher than 2019. The growth of guest houses in the countryside is even higher, with bookings 2.2 times greater than 2019. China's countryside revitalization policy via municipal governments has rolled out financial incentives to encourage the guest house business. The industry is now booming in the GBA. This guest house opened in 2017. The architectural design is Hakka. Clients can pick their own vegetables and fruits on its farm. This kind of place is very popular. At times, the price for a room here could go as high as a 5-star hotel.
We
target people who just want to take a short trip. Going to Dalian in Lijiang is a long haul. Holidaymakers do not need to travel too far or go to a particular destination. When they have time, they can go anywhere they like for relaxation.
Travelers prefer short trips rather than long-haul travel amid COVID-19. It is dubbed micro-travel. Health concerns are also a factor that encourages people to seek out the countryside. A report on Guangdong's guest house industry says city dwellers are the major clients of guest houses. First-tier city dwellers are the majority, and 70% of them are those from the post-80s and 90s generation. Xiao Man comes from Guangzhou. She likes to take short trips in nearby places with her friends.
很接近原生态，对，跟以往的那种民宿很不一样。
It is very close to nature, unlike the regular guest houses. First, it is away from the city.
那就是说，这个包括周边的一个环境的话，也是说直接是这种原生态的一个山脉。
There are mountains. Nearby houses are very close to nature. That's what we want.
大自然嘛，我们觉得就是说，这也是我们想要的。对，因为平时工作。
We have huge pressure from work. We live in the city. We want a change of scenery.
The guest house owner has a few other properties, but he advises the locations should not be too far out.
至少喺4個鐘頭車程之內，
They're within a 4-hour drive. Some travel programs are also available in the nearby area.
特色嘅旅遊項目都係因為呢幾個城市嘅消費者嘅消費能力最強。
City dwellers have very high spending power. Our clients are post-80s and 90s. Their consumption behavior is different from their parents.
同佢哋嘅父輩係嘅消費觀念亦都有唔同，就願意為好嘅。
They're more willing to spend on services and programs offering good experiences.
成個珠三角、大珠三角。
The whole Pearl River Delta now, what we call the GBA, the cities are very vibrant.
Government has issued a few reports to promote countryside tourism. The size of this village is about 3,000 acres. Back in 2018, only 63 people lived here, and most of them were over 60 years old. But with restoration, more shops were opened, and indigenous villagers came back and helped promote economic growth.
2016年仲未開業，呢度。
Back in 2016, it was very quiet. During the celebration of National Day, you could hardly see anyone in the street. You could only hear dogs barking and chicken clucking.
開始塞車。客人翻嚟呢度，遊客多咗，咁佢哋亦都可以。
But ever since our guest house began operation in 2017, the traffic became very heavy as tourists flooded into this area. They would spend on food, accommodation, and entertainment that stimulated the economy.
有啲擅長烹飪啊，有啲擅長經營啊，咁佢哋亦都會有自己嘅考慮。
And the local villagers farmed and cooked, running the businesses.
咁成個
they return and build their village with their acquired skills.
興旺翻，但係我哋開業咗咁耐啦，呢度已經係多翻好多人，亦都至少喺19年1年就多咗成4個。
In 2019, 4 leisure farms, 2 guest houses and 3 stores were set up in the same year. The village is now vibrant with a healthy economy.
In recent years, as guest houses and B&Bs boomed, there's been no related regulation or guidelines to govern their operation. The only regulation on the books is that investors cannot buy and sell farmland. They can only rent it.
全部係喺建築紅線範圍之內，即係話係允許建設嘅。尤其係
The building of guest houses needs to be approved. They are not allowed to be built on farmland. It has to be built on residential land.
然之後要有同當地嘅聚居地嘅主人，即係村民有。
And then you have to sign a lease with the landowner. Usually, a lease is for 20 years minimum.
Currently, the layout of a guest house has to be in line with some basic requirements and review. A standalone project cannot exceed 14 units. Even if there are new rules, the local countryside is expected to continue to benefit from official incentives and encouragement of the guest house industry. A city in Thailand laid out plates of fruits, desserts, and vegetables for thousands of monkeys as a token of appreciation for attracting foreign tourists to the city after a pandemic-induced lull. Led by a local businessman, workers and tourists dished out 2 tons of fruits and vegetables worth over 100,000 baht. The annual buffet serves about 4,000 macaques living on the streets and inside the city's Buddhist temple complex in downtown Lopburi. The man organizing the feast says it's the 34th year the event has been held. The hungry macaques jumped and clambered onto the fruit trays as they picked up their favorite morsels. The event was a highlight for foreign tourists.
When we heard this festival was happening while we were here, we had to come. It's just amazing. It was such a blessing and honor to be able to help arrange the fruit. And it was so cool the way the monkeys received it. It was really beautiful.
We'd heard that monkeys, watch out, there are a lot of people afraid of the monkeys, but I think that people are just overreacting. The monkeys are great.
Yeah.
The festival was started in 1989 as a way to boost tourism in the province, which is home to a 10th century Buddhist temple. The macaques will get 4 different helpings of food throughout the day.
That's the show. Thanks for watching. Next time on Money Matters, the Christmas season is upon us, and with it, Christmas fairs. With fewer social distancing requirements, there are more fairs, and organizers and vendors are feeling optimistic. Join us then to check out a few Christmas gift ideas. Bye for now.